All right, welcome in, everybody. This is The Slate. We are a DraftKings show. We take you up until 6 o'clock Eastern every weekday. The Slate can be found on the DraftKings Twitter page at DK Nation. We are also live on the DraftKings YouTube and Twitch pages. Great to have you with us. On May 1st, Brendan Glasheen, joined today by Jeff Ulrich, what does that say? This guy, SMH? Why is that? Oh, because Jeff wasn't supposed to be here at the start of the show, so Daniel's giving him a hard time. So Jeff's here. Just reading what's on my.
It's also because I rooted against the Bruins. The precious Boston Bruins of the NHL, who could do no wrong except they couldn't beat the Florida Panthers. They even have ice in Florida.
Guys, I understand. Massachusetts is now legal for sports betting, and Boston is the DraftKings headquarters. I will be the first local to tell you, we got to pump the brakes on this. All right. DraftKings is a global brand. All right. I know we've got guys like Chara and Ortiz and Scalabrini who are all in our corner now here at DraftKings. And that's great. Okay. But we don't have to lead the show just because the Bruins lost and they collapsed and they choked away a lead or a chance to win the game with 3 seconds left in Game 5 with Brad Marchand, 2 third-period leads, and a third-period lead in Game 7 with a minute to go and then losing in overtime on their home ice. We don't have to start with that, even though we just kind of did. So
yeah, I said on the last show that I was on that I was rooting against the Bruins. I think that you Boston guys have gotten too big for your britches recently. You need to come down a peg. And I'm honestly worried about what's going to happen when the Celtics lose to a Joel Embiid-less 76ers tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There we go.
If they lose to Tobias Harris and James Harden.
Hell yeah.
That'll be, Tyrese Maxey deserves a mention there too. Actually, a local kid on the Sixers, Georges Niang. He's from the same hometown as my fiance. Fun fact. Georges Niang makes a return to TD Garden. So, see, Jeff, how professional I am. I called her my fiance. I didn't call her by her name. I've grown up a bit here on the Sims.
Wow.
Yeah.
My fiance. Okay.
Okay, so we've got 35-ish minutes. We're just going to rip through all the games going on tonight. So we've got Stanley Cup playoff Game 7, Rangers, Devils. LaMarcus here to talk some basketball. And we can also look ahead to some of the series that are starting up later this week. There are some playoff series props up in the NHL for later in the week. 2 games tomorrow. Florida and Toronto start up their series at the Maple Leafs. And then the Kraken defeated Colorado last night. So it's Kraken Stars. That's at 9:30. And we'll dive into some of the NBA games as well. Lakers and Warriors, fantastic semifinal series. So we'll start ripping through these games. Tonight, Jeff Ulrich, we've got Rangers Devils, 8 Eastern, Game 7 in New Jersey. Both teams at -110 on the money line, so it's a pick 'em. What are your thoughts?
Look, my pick in this series has been kind of wild for me. I didn't really like the Rangers coming into the playoffs. I thought all this veteran stuff hasn't been gelling well. They went 3-5 down the stretch. And then they came out and they just looked like everything was fine and they got everything together. But now then 3 games in a row where it was back to where they were. The Rangers are super talented, but I made the argument before. The Devils have been the better team all season. They've been the better team at creating chances. They're really solid defensively. Yes, the Rangers have just probably, they've got talent spurted everywhere. The Devils are a better team. I just think that the Devils are a better team. And I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Coming back from 2-0, not even 2-0, getting absolutely spanked 10-2
in your own building.
Yeah. I think you got to go with the Devils here. That's where I'm going. That's where I went at the start of the series. The Devils have been really good. They did get beat in the last game. The Rangers came to play, but I'm going to go back to the New Jersey here. And again, we can bring this back to the futures, like you said. If you are interested and you want to spend a little bit more money, make a little bit of an investment in the Devils, take them in the futures, man. They get by here. They're going to play a Carolina Hurricanes team without their top 2 wingers. they're going to, and the Carolina Hurricanes team, by the way, they kind of eked past the Islanders. I know that series feels like it ended like a week ago, but that was a close series, man. Like the Devils are a better team than the Islanders. They're going to make it even tougher. So I feel like the Devils, if they get through tonight, have a real path to get to the championship where they could be taking on, well, not could be, they would be taking on either the Panthers or the Leafs. And I would love matchups there for the Devils. So I'm looking at the odds. It's a big game tonight. Again, you'd be doubling your investment if you bet the game and the futures, but this is probably a good spot to get on the Devils because the East has gone from a foregone conclusion to wide open. So
Sure. Where do you think
my hashtag analysis?
Yes, I would like to hear it. You're the New
Well,
York,
real
you're the
quick.
New Yorker.
real quick, Jeff, where do you think that number it's 11-1 now? What does that come down to if they win tonight?
Good question. I mean, I would assume kind of in the Dallas Stars-ish. It's tough to say. The Hurricanes are definitely getting a little bit undervalued, plus 700.
Yeah.
I would assume the Devils would be slight favorites, so probably in the 600 range, if I had to guess.
Okay. Yeah, knocking out a powerhouse like the Rangers would be massive. And there's no Bruins to worry about. But Florida proved they're pretty good. We're over that. LaMarca, your analysis, please, on this game 7.
I think whichever team wins this series goes to the second favorites in the East behind Toronto. I think the Devils' key here is they have to keep the Rangers off the power play. The Rangers' power play really good all season. The Devils got off to a great start in Game 6. And what really turned things around was the Rangers got a power play goal, and that kind of changed things from there. So I think if the Devils can stay out of the box and keep this game at full strength, I am with Jeff. I think that they win. I think if they have too many penalties, the Rangers get another power play goal or two, that's when we could see New York advance. But we talked about it before the start of the series, how we both kind of just wanted this thing to bet this thing to go 7. Right. And so it's ultimately not all that surprising that we're here. You've got minus 110 money line odds on both sides. Like, could you ask just for as a neutral fan, could you ask for a better Game 7 setup than what we have right now?
Yeah, no, it's going to be super interesting. One of my main regrets is not taking the 7-game line on this series. It just screamed it from the start. It's like these teams have been equal. They've been up there all along. They know each other. It's basically, and the thing is, you go on the road with one of these teams, it's not even really a road game for them. So there's almost like no home ice advantage in the series because they're
particularly
so
for the Rangers. Those guys travel.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's a great setup. Like I said, my lean here is the Devils. I don't know. Want to look at a prop or something like that? I mean, Jack Hughes at plus 135 to score an anytime goal is really in any game a pretty solid number, to be honest. But, going down the lineup, Dawson Mercer, a guy who's come through a lot there too. I don't hate that number there for the Devils at plus 260. Maybe making like a same game parlay. You want to parlay it with the Devils money line or something. Those are the two players I would definitely be looking at the hardest.
Okay. In this series especially, first 2 games in New Jersey, Rangers win both, and the Devils respond, win 2 on the road, hold them to 1 goal in each. And that was the irony. Each team that went on the road won and held the opponent to 1 goal in each of the 4 games, the road team. Rangers are getting most of the cash and the tickets for tonight. The money's coming in as well as the tickets. And I think you're right. I mean, LaMarca's right. I mean, did you watch last night? Home ice doesn't really mean.
Look, the other thing
home ice thing is more nerve-wracking for the home team, I think.
It's funny you bring out the sportsbook because the other thing about this NHL playoffs, it's been great for the sportsbooks thus far. The 2 highest handles, Bruins and Avalanche. The only real team that got through that's got a big handle is the Oilers, and that was just a bunch of late money coming in. So I don't even know how big the handle is on them. I think it's probably gotten up there because I think they got a lot of bets late in the season. But
you're talking about Stanley Cup tickets.
I'm talking about futures tickets. Yeah, exactly. And if the Rangers go out, the Oilers are basically the last man standing. Like if the Oilers get eliminated, the sportsbooks are absolutely just destroying the Stanley Cup playoffs if the Rangers and the Oilers go. So right now, I'm just pointing that out because all of the heavily bet teams so far have been eliminated. So,
Jeff, with what we've seen so far, just looking at the futures numbers, would you consider making a play on the Kraken? Right, they are 20-1 to win the cup. By far the best number amongst the teams that are into the second round of the playoffs, right? The next best team is Florida at 10-1. So, they just beat the defending champs, or the team that represented the West last year in the finals. Like,
it's
if they can be, I don't know. Am I not putting enough thought into this, or am I letting the big number just blind me?
I've been the one making the argument all season that the West is wide open. Like, if Vegas does somehow beat the Oilers, and I don't think that's going to happen, but if they do, they could just be banged. Like, they don't have a good goalie. They're already a little bit banged up. And if the Oilers choke, like, the Kraken can be in a very winnable series all of a sudden. I do think, like, the Stars will win that series, but again, like, the Stars are not a dominant, what you call like a dominant top tier team. Even the Oilers, this is the first season where we've really been able to say, like, they're up there. And yes, their offense is absolutely out of this world. I would hate the matchup for the Kraken. If it's the Kraken and the Oilers, that's a terrible matchup for the Kraken.
Okay.
Like, I can't even emphasize it enough. But that's just my opinion. But if it's the Knights, that's, in my opinion, a winnable series for them. So there's value there. Absolutely. I just think that with how open the West is, you can't have a team at plus 2,000. I think they should probably be at like plus 1,500 or something. But if you do bet them, like, you need to also, I would be prepared to hedge, because I wouldn't really like them in a final against like the Devils or Toronto either. But yeah, they're, like, there's, that number's too big. I don't think they should be that big.
Good number to drive home to Jeff's point. NHL road teams entering this evening are 31-18 straight up, 63%. The previous 2 years, playoff road teams were only 42% win percentage, 73 and 102, including just 43% in the opening round. So this is, to Jeff's point, unprecedented in the first round, and why books are happy with what's going on right now, because the Bruins are out and the Avs are out. So, and you said that's right? Bruins 1, Avs 2?
I believe it was somewhere around there. I mean,
okay.
I'd be pretty shocked if the Bruins weren't the heaviest bet team.
Yeah, 100%.
Given how the public bets. Yeah. So
okay. Real quick, Jeff, before we go to basketball, they've got series props posted, playoff series props. Right. So I know LaMarca just asked about futures for winning the cup. Any leans here on, we've got Devils Rangers tonight, but these other 3 series that have series prices? Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I kind of like both Canadian teams. This just feel like the Oilers, their big nemesis was, well, when they have to match up against Colorado, well, Colorado's gone. Vegas is not Colorado. The Oilers absolutely dominated Vegas during the regular season. The Golden Knights play like a trappy style. They don't have as much speed. They don't have a good goaltender. They're a little bit banged up. This series could be over in 5. Like, honestly, the Oilers all of a sudden confident. I think that was probably the toughest matchup the Oilers might have going in. And wow. I may even look to take like a short series spread, like Oilers in 5 kind of thing. Certainly the Oilers minus 1.5 is in play. They'd have game 6 to close things out too, because they don't have home ice in this one. So the Oilers, even at minus 150, it's been bet down from minus 135. That is where I would go. I don't really want to bet against the Panthers, and I don't really want to bet against the Leafs, but my heart says that, my brain just says that I still think the Leafs are probably the slightly better team there. The Panthers are just so up and down. I just don't know if I want to trust their goaltending for another series. And then really, I think my favorite call, again, it really depends on tonight. If we can get the Devils through here, I'll absolutely love the Devils against Carolina. I think the Devils can absolutely beat Carolina, kind of at their own game. They're younger, they're faster, they have more depth right now. If their goaltending can hold up, which it has in this series, to get them to game 7, I think it'll hold up against Carolina. So it's kind of how I'm looking for the next round.
All right.
The Stars are just too short against the Kraken too. I don't even really want to take the Kraken, but you almost have to at that price. The Stars shouldn't be minus 205, even though I like the Stars.
So Edmonton is the favorite to win that series, minus 150. They're at minus 115 in the money line for Wednesday. That to me is like, I know, again, you don't need to win game one to win the series, but that's enticing when you consider that.
And,
they're-
and other things to look for at this point, like if the Oilers do give up game one, probably be a great time to jump on them in the futures.
Then bet, oh yeah, I mean, bet the series future and the cup.
Yeah, just the Stanley Cup futures. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Good stuff. 8:00, Jersey and New York. Devils, Rangers tonight, 8:00. Let's shift gears to the NBA. 2 games this evening. Philadelphia, Boston, game 1, East semis, and then Suns, Nuggets, game 2, West semis. We have a final, or we have an Elite 8 now in the NBA. 4 teams left in the East, 4 in the West. We'll start Celtics, Sixers. LaMarca, I don't know if you're like Skip Bayless and have a tie-in with the Sixers brass and have a source where Bayless thinks there's a tear with Joel Embiid. He was shooting around this afternoon at TD Garden. He was shooting around yesterday. The numbers dropping. We saw 10.5. Now it's down to 9.5. So I would imagine that's a reflection of Embiid maybe playing. You could take whatever. You could take another angle too. The series price is at -500 for the Celtics to come out of this one. What are your opinions of this game? And can the Sixers keep this close with an injured Embiid or an Embiid that is out?
It's going to be really tough. I liked Philly on the for the series price. I kind of think that Boston, they have some flaws. They certainly didn't make the easiest work of an Atlanta Hawks team that really isn't very good. But without Joel Embiid, I don't think they have much of a chance. So if he only misses one game, that's possible. You can overcome that. If he starts to miss 2 or even more games, that's when things are going to be really tough. The 76ers, they increased their net rating by nearly 11 points with Embiid on the floor during the regular season, 95th percentile for NBA players. The number has been similar during the postseason. So it's just a lot to ask against a team that is as good as Boston is. And as much as I like to make fun of Boston, this Celtics team is really good. They are a top unit on both sides of the ball. They have, everything that you really are looking for in a playoff team. So I don't have a ton of interest in this game tonight. The Sharps seem to like the Celtics. They're comfortable laying the 9.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to go there just because I've been burnt by Boston too many times. They will occasionally just come out and lay an egg and be completely disinterested. But it really is going to come down to Embiid. If Embiid is back for game 2, I could possibly see myself having some interest in taking the 76ers, maybe plus 1.5 games, something like that.
Who did the Sixers play in the first round again?
They played Brooklyn, and it was the only sweep in the first round.
Sixers plus 1.5 games, plus 165.
Right. And you figure without Embiid tonight, if they lose, you can get an even better number on that in game 2.
Right. Okay. Which would probably make you think they have to win game 2.
I think you need a split if you're gonna make this a series.
So is he as Embiid? He's not been ruled out yet tonight, though, right?
Doubtful.
Yep.
Do you think
will this line move like once he gets ruled out, or is it already baked in?
I think it's pretty much baked in. I think at this point it would be a surprise if Joel Embiid played in game 1. I think the goal is just to get him up to speed for game 2. I think that's really the ultimate plan.
This feels like to me a good spot to bet the 76ers money line. I don't know. You got a team who, like, they probably know that Embiid's not playing. They know that everyone just expects them to get rolled. And they have like Maxey, Harden. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit. The Celtics just didn't really look good.
Go ahead and do it.
What's that?
So go ahead and do it then.
I'm going to. I'm going to. It's plus 390. I mean, I have to.
No wonder you made time to do the show. Bruins, bashing, Sixers, money line, game 1. Oh, Clash is on. Perfect.
I mean, look, I thought you were the non-biased Boston guy. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Sixers are better. You tell me. Do you think that makes sense, though? It makes sense to me.
I'll give you one that I like, Jeff.
Okay, okay.
Tobias Harris, double plus 360.
There we go.
Tobias kind of is the
Makes
forgotten man in Philadelphia, but when Joel is out, he really is asked to pick up the load. I'm pretty sure in his last game he had like 25 and 12 without Joel. I think it's very possible. You know, if you're looking for something with a little less variance, you could always just take the over on his points prop or a PRA, something like that. But I kind of think plus 360 for a double is a very favorable number.
Double A. We got double. Do you guys know what a double is? In Canada language?
No, I know what it is in cheeseburger language, but
in Canada, double is double milk, double cream at Tim Hortons. So when you order, when you go to Timmy Ho's, give me a double, eh?
He had, by the way, Harris had 2 doubles in the Brooklyn series, which was a gentleman's sweep, 5 games. Did you just say that?
The last game I knew without Embiid, game 4. It was not a gentleman's sweep. It was a sweep.
Yeah, it was a.
It was. I beg your pardon. They included their game against. I'm sorry. I thought this said just playoffs. Last 5 games, including their game against Miami in the end of the regular season. Sorry, I'm looking at Pro Basketball Reference. Yep. So you're right. Sweep. 2 of the 4. 2 of the 4. Double for Tobias Harris. Now that actually makes a lot of sense in terms of a Sixers angle. I just don't know if they've got the even with the big guys down there. That who's it? Okay, actually, LaMarca, who's their backup big man? Like who's
my man B-Ball Paul? He goes by the name of Paul Reed.
Paul Reed. That's right.
Great fantasy guy. Super active.
They used to have somebody else behind Embiid, right? Or maybe
they've had DeAndre Jordan. They've had Dwight Howard at times, but Montrezl Harrell for a while this year.
Yeah.
But Paul Reed has kind of earned that spot. He started in game 4 versus Brooklyn, excuse me. And great fantasy player, right? If you're playing DFS tonight, he is like a 1.2 fantasy point per minute type of guy, super high motor, one of those types of big men that's just always working, which is great for fantasy.
Look, I get it if Embiid doesn't play because he's not right, and the Sixers might want to have him. But this now this is load management within the playoffs. We've heard this.
It's not. He's hurt.
Okay, bad. Well, I was going to compare it to what's going on with Jimmy Butler potentially for the Miami Heat if they hold him out for game 2. Because then if the Heat look at it like, well, we won game 1, we did our job. We're going to get our split even if we lose game 2. Hold out Butler in game 2 and then play him in game 3.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is a degree of that where, in years past, it was just grid through it and play it. And now maybe they are being a little bit more cautious. But I don't think that's...
I didn't say he wasn't hurt.
It's the playoffs, right? These guys want to be out there if they can, especially Jimmy Butler. I mean, that guy is a dog with a capital dog, all right? Not just a D. The whole word is capital.
I didn't say he wasn't hurt. I'm not trying to play that game of like speculating whether a guy's giving it his all or not. I think that's almost Embiid's problem historically is he tries to play hurt too often and they might have to scale him back. This isn't a Kawhi Leonard situation is my point. I just think it's almost the opposite use of load management with Embiid.
They have to protect the players sometimes from themselves.
I know. But I've heard all year he's the MVP of the league with Jokic back and forth all year. Well, if he's out, then they're in trouble. I mean, he had to score 50. He had to score 52 against Boston to barely win that game when they faced each other in early April. That was the last time they played each other. And he scored 52 and the Sixers won by 3 or 4. And that game was played in the low 100s. That wasn't like a high scoring game. So I don't know. I think Maxey's a nice weapon for them. He's definitely comparing the teams from last year to this year. Maxey's taken quite a step. I think James Harden's best playoff days are behind him, but he's become more of a passenger. But, I say all that, and the Sixers, the Celtics got pushed around by the Atlanta Hawks, but I was
Don't sleep on Tobias, man. I'm telling you. Tobias catches a lot of heat because, he has a big contract.
Yeah.
and he doesn't put up huge numbers during the regular season, but he defers a lot of his offensive game, the same way that Chris Bosh used to for the Heat, right? So that's why I'm big on him tonight. I think that, with no Embiid, you're going to have, that's 35% usage to be spread amongst the rest of the squad. I think Tobias is going to have a reminder performance today.
What's the best outside of the double-double, like points, rebounds, assists, points, rebound, or points, rebounds?
I would take points. I think points
Just
is
points?
fine. He increases his usage rate by like 4.5% with Embiid off the floor. As I mentioned, he had, I think, 25 in the last game without Embiid.
25 and
So,
12.
Yeah, 25 and 12.
And one assist, which
It is an insane amount of usage that Embiid is
yeah.
goes around once he's out,
Yep.
right? So I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
and his plus minus has been good in the games in which he's played well. So when he plays well, that's correlating to the Sixers playing well. The team playing well, that is 25 and 12, one assist. And I'm not calling him out to be selfish. I just mean they need him to shoot the basketball, right? And be a big guy. Like, he's not in a position to pass. They want him to shoot. 11 of 19 last game too, 58%. Phoenix, Denver. I think we found out and we were reminded. I mean, I've been trying to tell folks like Jamal Murray's right. This guy is, Jeff knows he's a Canadian. Jamal Murray, this guy's a hell of a player.
He's got
Kind
that
of
dog in him. We know that about Jamal Murray.
Yeah. He's good. He's really good. And I think we were reminded how good he is. 34 points in game 1. Denver for 4 quarters controls that game at home against the Suns. I think the series price going into this series, Phoenix a slight favorite at minus 125, and Denver was at plus 105. I will go to LaMarca first on this. Phoenix underdogs plus 145 on the money line. Do they bounce back, or are you worried about the Phoenix Suns and their depth, their lack of depth showing?
I would not say I'm worried. I think that this is going to be a long series. I see this thing going at least 6 games, probably 7. And the biggest advantage that Denver has is their home court. They are really tough to beat in Denver. So in my eyes, Denver winning the first 2 games, that doesn't necessarily mean that this series is over, right? So I have a ticket on the Nuggets to win the West. I have a ticket on the Suns to win the title. So I'm kind of just letting this thing ride at the moment. If I were to make a bet now, I still would probably take Denver to win this series. But if Denver wins tonight, then I might be looking to take the longer odds with Phoenix. I don't think plus 140 is good enough with them being in a 1-0 hole.
They go down 2-0. What? That's got to be plus 250.
Worse than that. I would say
Worse?
they're over plus 300.
Because they got to go back to Denver. They got to win at least one. And they got to win. Yeah, they got to win at least one in Denver.
Basically, they have to win both 3 and 4, and then they have to win 1 of 2 in Denver.
Right, 5 or 7 if they get to 7. Right. You'd think it's like this math with series. It's like it's that time of year again, like being reminded. Okay, yep, this is how that works. Like the series math. It's that time of year. It's great.
It's playoff basketball and playoff hockey at the same time. It's honestly, I actually think it's better than betting football. Like it's as good at the very least. The
I love the series betting. I did very well in the first round. Particularly with the Suns and the Lakers. I hit the Suns before the start of the series minus 2.5 games, and then after they lost game 1, I hit them again minus 1.5 games. Ended up winning both of those bets. So, I think that there's good value to be had in the series market.
Yeah. Not in Boston. At least it looked that way in Boston, but not in Boston.
No. Play the 76ers, like I said, man.
Also for a full futures roundup here.
Yeah, please.
I think the Denver Nuggets are a value here at plus 600. The fact that they are favored to win the series versus Phoenix, right? They're minus 170, which we just saw,
Plus 120.
and they have the same odds as the Suns. That doesn't make much sense to me.
I would agree.
So I will happily take the Nuggets if you don't already have a piece. That's definitely a live number.
I hadn't looked at these yet. Oh, that scares the crap out of me. Oh yeah, Celtics like basically a even money.
I know the Celtics, man. Their path got so much easier with Milwaukee going down, because if they get past Philly, again, a Philly team that we don't really know what's going on with Joel Embiid,
I know.
then you've only got the Knicks or the Heat waiting for you in the conference finals.
A Knicks team, not to get you going here, but the Knicks gave that Celtics team issues this year. They did.
The Knicks are the Knicks, right? They're gonna play hard. They're gonna scrap, but they do not have the firepower to keep up with Boston.
And by the way, there is news on that. The Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are both questionable now for Game 2.
Ooh, that's not good. Randle,
and that's right from Knicks PR. So that's not like a team report or a reporter from a paper. That is Knicks PR. Jalen Brunson dealing with a sore right ankle. Julius Randle sprained left ankle.
That's a problem. I'm not a Julius Randle guy. I think that they can win this series without him, to be 100% honest. They cannot without Jalen Brunson. He was their best player in Game 1. He got into the paint at will. They need him. If he is limited, that is very bad for the Knicks' prospects of winning Game 2 and the series.
Okay. Yeah. So Denver.
I want to see Philly, New York conference. That's like a Philly, New York conference final. That's like throwback to like the late 90s.
Bring your batteries with you. That's a blood match right there.
I want to see that.
LaMarca, how about some series discussion on Golden State and LA? That's going to be a very publicly bet. It's probably good. I mean, I would think, because of LeBron and Steph, and if that series, unless Golden State runs them over and the Lakers don't stand a chance.
It's such a great matchup, right? Yeah. I mean, how cool is it?
This series should break records, I think, from a viewing standpoint. LeBron.
It's just so cool that we're still getting Steph Curry, LeBron James matchups.
Short term, it's great. The league needs to learn how to market their other young players, in my opinion. But keep going. Yeah.
Steph dropping 50 in Game 7, the most ever in a Game 7. Yep. Not that Steph necessarily needed anything else to add to his resume, but that's another nice little feather in his cap there. So I'm taking Golden State. I think that Golden State is just like someone was trying to tell me how the Lakers match up well against them because, they have Anthony Davis, who's a big athletic big man. And
who said that?
The Lakers and the Warriors really don't have somebody that can counter that. But we've heard the same thing about big athletic bigs facing the Warriors for a decade now.
Long time.
And it doesn't matter. You have to just be able to withstand the Warriors' onslaught for 7 games, right? And Sacramento did such a good job of it. And then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Steph Curry knocked him out. That's just how it happens sometimes. So I'm taking the Warriors. I think minus 145 is a pretty fair price tag, especially considering they have home court for this series. I think that's a good number.
Steve Kerr with a ringing endorsement too of Kevon Looney, who
he's great. He could play for my team any day.
Yeah. Looney has excelled in his role and does exactly what he needs for them. So we do have breaking news to the program. Joel Embiid, per Adrian Wojnarowski, Joel Embiid officially out tonight for Celtics and Sixers. So
hammer the Tobias Harris. Let's go.
Yeah. So that could be. Now I'm curious, before we get out of here, we'll just check the okay, so it's back up to 10.
So it can go to 10.
It was at 9.5. And then how about is our double market still up there? Let's find that out for Jeff. But now Jeff can definitely take Sixers on the money line because that's what he was encouraging earlier.
Yeah, let's do it.
Double. Here we go.
I mean, I think honestly, the Sixers have a chance tonight. I mean, I feel like the line is too big. I mean, I don't know.
It's basketball, man. Anything can happen.
Maybe I've watched too much playoff hockey, but
it's not quite as wild as playoff hockey.
I know.
But we've already had a 6 seed, a 7 seed.
The
and an
Bucks
8
just
seed
got. I
win.
know. Like, I feel like the Bucks losing was like not like maybe the draft.
No, that never.
like,
That kind of stuff never happens in the
I know.
NBA. So
Yeah.
it might just be that type of year.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is it's not like the Celtics have this dominant inside game that they can now exploit. Like Robert Williams has got a role for this team, but the Celtics do get very 3-point happy when they met. Now Embiid played in this game. They met the last time they played early April. The Celtics took 91 shots. They shot 42%. They took 91 shots, 45 of them from three. 45. So they still shoot the three, and it's not like they're going to be able to. My point is, they're not going to change their whole makeup and dynamic because
and they shouldn't. You know,
right?
They're not
right, and that's not a knock too.
Playing through Robert Williams in the post does not sound like a good idea to me.
Right, that is not their team. So to Jeff's point, the Sixers, if they can, that's the problem with the Sixers. I think they're built to go to Embiid. So I don't know where they're going to get it from. And also that game Philly won in April, Jaylen Brown did not play. So, and there was a game at the Garden where the Celtics played, like my guy Sam Hauser was starting, as opposed and no Brown and no Tatum, and they had the Sixers had everybody, and the Celtics still won. So, but Jeff is calling it Sixers game 1 win. It would fit with this town. I mean, you're going to feel the game 7 ice on the parquet tonight.
I'm just trying I'm just pouncing on the Boston bet. Like, just bet Tobias Harris. Listen to Matt, the guy who actually knows what he's talking about.
Well,
I mean, I am sprinkling the Philly money line. I am. I'm actually going to do that.
But truly, like, all bias aside, and I know we need to go, like, that's way better value to take a player that will now ascend with another star out at plus 360 than just taking Philly to win against this. Yeah, it makes, I mean, plus 410, you're getting like, you're saving a couple cents. You're saving a couple cents to get a way better.
I mean, look, if you want to become a millionaire tonight, you play the double and the Philly win or something.
Oh, baby.
Of course, we promote being responsible, everybody. All right. Okay. Good stuff. So we got the hockey tonight, basketball. Yeah, very good. And that's kind of what it's going to be here on the slate, which is great for us because in this window
little baseball talk every now and again.
We'll get the baseball. Yeah, we'll work it. We'll work that in. Mexico City, that was fun. A lot of home runs, a lot of fly balls. It was. But great for us because we get the news too coming in, like the Embiid thing. So for Matt LaMarca, Jeff Ulrich, thanks to Eamon and Daniel. Behind the scenes, Brendan Glasheen. We're back tomorrow after that 4 p.m. Madden Sim. You got the sweat starting at 11 a.m. to get your day going. You all have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.